we should be out there eating our lunch, and I hope that we are eating good things, healthy things, right? Okay, so here we are. It's about practical accountancy. And I would want us, ladies and gentlemen, to look at a very small example. That if you are given these kind of narrations, somebody, for example, comes and tells you, hey, we are beginning business in 2023. And then 1st of January, this guy establishes a business by investing Kenya shillings 1 million in cash. And then, of course, he deposits 500,000 in the bank account, etc. So if you are given these kind of transactions and then you would want to capture them in form of financial statements, final accounts, the very first thing you need to know is to capture these transactions in terms of journals. So remember, journals, you're basically using the famous double entry, where the famous double entry, you're looking at debit and credit. For every debit entry, there is a corresponding credit entry. And as we do this, because you have only given me 10 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, we are always using what we call the famous acronym PAIRS. The famous acronym PAIRS. So this is pair, pair like that. And then we have RLS. So this pair stands for purchases, expenses, and assets. So we have here purchases, expenses, and then we have assets here. That's pair. And then we have, ladies and gentlemen, this other one called RLS. RLS stands for what here? This stands for revenue. We have liabilities, and then lastly, we have what we call share capital or equity. Share capital or equity. What do you know about this pair? Pair, whenever they increase, we debit. So in this case here, always debit with increase. Debit with increase. And then in this case here, this other one, we credit with increase. All right, so remember under pair, what are we saying under pair? Pair is purchases, expenses, assets. We shall always debit with the increase. Revenue, liabilities, and share capital. We shall always credit with the increase here. So this one, you shall always credit. You shall always do what here? You shall always credit with the increase here. Very important for us to appreciate that, ladies and gentlemen. Very important. So if, for example, you have purchased goods, what do you do if you have purchased goods for sale? You're going to open a purchases account and then you debit purchases account. If, for example, ladies and gentlemen, you incur an expenditure like an electricity bill you've paid, electricity bill, of course, is an expenditure. Expenses as the pair principle shall always be opened up. The account shall always be opened up and debited. The same case with the assets. And then when you talk of revenue, for example, sales, what happens with the sales? When you sell goods, you shall open a sales account and credit. Liabilities, you shall always have a liabilities account and you credit. Share capital the same, open a share capital equity account, you credit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've been able to do this very, very well. Very important for you to appreciate this. I've been able to do this in terms of, for example, if this person came and established a business by investing Kenya shillings 1 million, what did I do? I am an accountant. I just did something very simple. I have the date column here, description column. Of course, there must be accounts. And then, of course, there must be a debit and a credit for each of these accounts. So for example, This guy brought in 1 million Kenya shillings in cash to the business. So you're supposed to open cash as an asset. We're supposed to open cash account and debit. And then, of course, because these are resources coming from the owner of the business, we are supposed to have equity account or share capital account, and then we do what here? We credit. And then, ladies and gentlemen, please listen. We are being told here that the following day, this gentleman, perhaps it's Joshua, he deposited out of their 1 million, he deposited 500,000 into the bank account. So if he deposits 500,000 in the bank account, can you kindly give me the double entry? Which accounts are going to be affected? Which accounts are going to be affected here? He has gotten out of their 1 million, he has gotten 500,000 and taken this to Equity Bank or to Absa Bank. Which accounts? 2 accounts. Remember, it is debit credit. Which 2 accounts will be affected? Well, they are not talking to me. They're not talking to me, unfortunately. And I'm here to help them to ensure that they shall start making money out of their accounting. Shall start making money out of our accounting. Remember, we have gotten this money from our cash box and taken this money to the bank. So the bank will be involved and the cash will be involved. So bank is an asset which is increasing. So I'll debit bank, I credit cash. So ladies and gentlemen, I've been able to do that exactly very well. I'm so sure you guys are very good with these transactions. But now after I've finished capturing all of them, how will I be able to extract my final account? To extract final accounts, the first account that we extract is known as a TB, a trial balance. And for you to be able to get a trial balance, we normally use a pivot table. So what we will do, you will come in this case in your ribbon, say insert, and then you say insert what we call a pivot table. Before I do that, it's always very important for you to come and highlight your entire table. You highlight your entire table using the easy keys, Control Shift, right arrow, Control Shift, down arrow. I can see it has done just halfway. So I need to press this arrow once again so that I can highlight the whole. I'll be able to teach you how to do this. And then I will comfortably come and say insert. What do you want to insert? I want to insert a pivot table. So when I say insert a pivot table, I can see a pop-up window. So this pop-up window, I should not even read anything, especially if I've been able to highlight the entire thing. You simply come and tell us, okay. When you say, okay, now things are happening. You can see what we call a pivot table, which is a dashboard, basically, section. Here we have our canvas where the pivot table will come. And then here we have what we call the pivot table fields. So then when you are here, straight away you have your column titles. These ones here, debit, credit. Once you are here, what you're supposed to do very fast, you come and give us, ladies and gentlemen, for example, the dates. Bring the dates under the rows. When I say dates there, you can see the dates are here. The dates are here now. They've been arranged as per my journals. And then from there, what else do I need? What else I will need? I will need the debit and the credit. So come and take the debit to the valuation. Put debit there. So you can see all the debits have been captured here. They're coming to 381, 5,000. That's 3,815,000. And then come and do this. Take the credit to here, where you are evaluating. I'll be able to teach you guys. I can see these things are balancing. They're balancing 381, 5,000, 381, 5,000. Now, ladies and gentlemen, once I get this, what I will do, if I'm the one doing this, I will come straight away. I will come straight away here. Let me just drop this down a little bit. I'll come straight away here and look at the pivot table analyze, specifically the design. So I'll come here and mention design. So when I say design, I would want to go to the report layout. So report layout, I would want this thing to be shown in a table format. I would want it to be shown in a table format. I would want it to be shown in a table format. What I should have done, yeah, show in a table format. All right, that's okay. And then, of course, I would also want, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here, to have this entire thing. What do I want to show here? Repeat all items. I don't have to repeat because already they're okay. So show in tabular format. That is very good. Now, after that, ladies and gentlemen, what else will I do? The next thing that I will do, I will come in this case here to my pivot table analyze. This pivot table analyze, I want to pull a TB, a trial balance. So what I'll do here, I will come and say, I'm looking for field items. The fields, items, and sets. Then I'll be able to look for what we call calculated field. Once I say calculated field, I'll come in this case here, have the name here. We are calling this title balances. We are calling it balances. I'll come to the formula. The formula, I'm taking debits. I'm taking debits here. All right, minus credits. And then I'll be able to say here, debits minus credits. And then I'll be able to say straight away, okay. So when I say, okay, ladies and gentlemen here, what is happening? First of all, I can see we are like 49. It's quite a big number. 49 is quite a big number. And I'm so sure, let me just stop sharing here a little bit. I'm so sure that nobody is able to follow so far. Nobody is able to follow so far. All of us are seeing what here, a lot of dust. What I would want to do, like in my next session, we have our practical bookkeeping class tomorrow. All right. All right. I'll be able to do 1 hour where I'll be able to teach you exactly how to pull this trial balance from the trial balance using Excel. How do I get, in this case, an income statement? How do I get, in this case, a balance sheet? It shall not stop there. Nobody would want you to do these things in Excel. After you get this in Excel, this is just a small thing. I should be able to take you straight away now to Tally, tell you these journals, that's how you produce them in Tally, the journals. And this is how you pull a trial balance from Tally Prime. It used to be Tally ERP, now it is Tally Prime. After that, I'll be able to show you, ladies and gentlemen, then how do you do your final counts. All right. And then I'll be able to replicate the same, or Mr. Job Material will be able to replicate the same in QB, QuickBooks. And then, of course, at the end of the day, we shall be able to crown everything by taking these to Zoho. I'll show you like how do we, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you go automated way, you can never sleep hungry. Accounting is a serious profession. Let me stop here a little bit and ask, for example, what I'm doing, and I want you to be very honest. I want you to be very honest. Have you ever seen anybody, even at your workplaces, who are able to produce final accounts using pivot tables? At your workplaces, even yourselves, are you able to produce final accounts using pivot tables? It will be very few people, perhaps 2 or 3, etc. But most accountants really are not good in these softwares. Trust you me. They're not good in these softwares, most accountants. What they will always keep on saying is that the accounting as a profession is a bad profession. Not knowing that some of us, like I work for a software company, and thanks Dr. McPhee who exposed me to this software, we are able to change jobs the way we wish. And good jobs for that matter. So let's stop blaming CPA. Let's also know that, of course, I know there could be challenges, but there are many things, ladies and gentlemen, that we are not at. Many things. For example, let me just even stop here because already what I've been able to do, I've been able to pull quite a lot. Just putting in this case here, a TB out of this is a very easy thing. You will get, for example, ladies and gentlemen, please, if there is anything and I've tried to convince you, unfortunately, most of you are not able to hear me out. You will get people doing crazy things, as crazy as this. You get, for example, we have in this case here a big word there. We have another big word, for example, blah, 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 blah. We have another one, for example, here, like that. So you will get, imagine an accountant who is trying to ensure that they are able to read these words here. So what they do, you will get them in this case here, they will come and try to expand this just to have the first name, for example, fitting in. You don't do that. This word, when they are here like that, and maybe there are many of them which are not fitting up, what I'm supposed to do is to come and highlight the entire worksheet. Don't even use Control A. You highlight the entire worksheet very well by highlighting this here. You come and basically click there. And once you click here, now go to any column in between AB, in between BC, wherever, just double click in between, double click in between, you double click. Once you do that, ladies and gentlemen, then we'll be able to see what year that all the words are doing what year they are fitting. There is no way you can tell me that you are a good accountant, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you this thing as my son, as my daughter, because most of you, even the members of ISPAC who are here, really, most of you have passed through my hands. You can't tell me that you're a very good accountant and yet you are lousy in Excel. You are very poor in Excel. Because even the SAPs, it doesn't matter which software you're using. At the end of the day, Excel is the king. People will tell you, hey, export this data from SAP. Export this data from, we have a very good reconciliation system called Reconact, which in this case is being used by like I&M Bank and very many banks in Kenya here for their bank reconciliations and of course, reconciliations of things like the PPE register. Reconact, a very important tool. So it doesn't matter which tool you're using. At the end of the day, they'll tell you, export this data to Excel. And once you export it to Excel, then we would want dashboards. We would want, in this case here, so many things, right? Once you are able to reach that level where you are able to handle data using Power Query, using Power BI, then, ladies and gentlemen, trust you me, you can't be employed and paid salaries which are as small as peanuts. So in most cases, ladies and gentlemen, I could be wrong. In most cases, we blame CPA, but me, I know CPA. I've seen guys who are doing very well in their industry. I've seen guys who are doing very well in the industry. So you'll get, for example, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you'll get some of you doing. This is what you'll get some of you doing. You'll get somebody here, and I want you to be very honest with me. So you'll get somebody here. This person has got, for example, 67, they have 89, they have, for example, 90. And then when you tell them to add, what they will do, and they will think that they're doing something very nice, they'll come and tell you, now we are looking for summation. Which numbers are we doing? We have these numbers. And then they say enter. Of course, they get it correct, 246 years. Somebody who is good in Excel will tell you that is hogwash. That is nothing. A good person, even if he has 10 rows here, 10 columns, I mean, maybe there is another one here with 89, with, for example, 97, for example, with whatever, 96 like that. They'll tell you the very best way of getting summation is to come and press Alt permanently, and then you say equals. Once you do that, you can see, ladies and gentlemen, things are happening that the formula has been written for you directly. And then you don't press enter, you press tab for you to move to the right. You press tab for you to move to the right cell being highlighted. Once you are here, then you should be able to do what we call now a control. You play like football. You're moving to the right. So you say control right, control R. So you're able to get this automatically. Excel is a beautiful thing. It can make you guys see play. Let me ask you a question and be very honest with me. Before I have shown you guys this thing of Alt equals, is there anybody who has been using that thing of summation at their workplace? Please be very honest with me. I'm not fighting anybody. We're here to help each other. Is there anybody who has been using that thing of equal summation? We're not fighting. We're not fighting. Is there anybody who has been using equal summation? We're not fighting. I'm not here to fight anybody, really. I'm just here to sharpen you. Kitambo kidogo, be here. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Most of them have decided to keep quiet. Na ile je ya kupanua, ndio jine toshe. Is there somebody who has been doing it manually? Is there somebody who has been doing it manually? It's only Grace who is responding here, but Victoria, guilty on both. We shall overcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is why we are here for you. And over these Christmas festivities, we're handling these Excel classes. Please join us. Whatever amount we are charging you guys is quite little. All right. These Excel classes, you pay like 4,000 Kenya shillings, you join these classes here. Of course, they're already in motion. The classes are continuing, but we record all our sessions and we are here to help you. So if you're interested in joining us, our number is 0719 525,000. 0719 525,000 is our number. And of course, if you want any corporate trainings, I may not say that I'm the best in Excel, but I can assure you that I'm among the very best because I work for a software company and we use Excel every other day. And Excel is huge. Excel, you can even program, for example, repetitive tasks. You can capture them in what we call the macros. And then in the future, everything now you'll be just putting a number there, and the Excel runs this as a program like that. So like these practical bookkeeping, for you to become very good in terms of bookkeeping and tax and whatever, then you will only pay us 4,000 shillings. It used to be 3,000. That was an offer. Now we are increasing the amount. We are increasing the amount. So repeat on the summation. I'll be able to repeat here. We are increasing because of what you see. We're giving you the softwares for free. We're giving you the softwares for free. That's QuickBooks. So remember, there is a button there written Alt near Control, ALT, Alt. You simply press Alt, left hand finger, and then you say equals using your right. And then you'll be able to say enter there or tab. Get that. You get that. So our number is 0719 525,000. Please call and we shall be able to give you what here? We shall be able to give you all the payment details. I can see there David is saying that he has not gotten access. David, maybe you could reach out to me. My number is 0723, not 21, 620 183. Then I'll be able to follow up very fast. Are you able to share your screen, Doreen? Not unless you have a problem with pressing Alt. You see Alt, you have to press Alt permanently. Not that you press Alt and then you lift your finger, no. Alt has to be pressed permanently. And then now you press this one equals once and then you leave it. And if possible, please share your screen. I'll be able to help you. If possible, share your screen. I'll be able to help you. But trust me, so long as you're able to see Alt and you're able to see equals, Alt, you're holding onto Alt permanently, kind of, Alt. And then once you press now equals, now you can release all the fingers out of that. Then, of course, you'll be able to say enter after you see that formula has been written there. I would really love to see your screen if possible. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Our work is to mentor you. Our work is basically to mentor you so that you can bring the best version of yourselves. Great. I'm happy, Doreen, you've gotten it. So my work is to ensure that I mold you to become the very best version of yourself so that you can get outside there and be of great service. So that is it. That is it. That is it. I'm happy. I'm seeing some guys here who are members of ISPAC. So happy. Like Justin Nyabuti was a student of mine just some few years ago. This guy I can see now is doing very well, which is very good. Thank you so much. All the best, all the best, all the best. I hope you have enjoyed the session. My hope is that you have enjoyed the session, albeit brief. And trust you me, as an accountant, as you leave, ladies and gentlemen, as you leave as an accountant by 2030, if you'll not be having a digital mind, you'll not be having any job to do. Not accountants alone, but all professions here will really be affected by what here? Will really be affected by this robotics thing. Will be really affected by the chat GPTs. All right. Yes, we'll be able to get us a video, Omar. Able to get a video. So if you're not really aligning yourself, straight away you are experiencing what we call a strategic drift. Strategic drift, as they run away, how does this strategic drift happen? I have to take 1 minute and explain to you how this thing happens. How this thing happens. I have to take a minute and explain to you how this thing happens. All right, just a minute. I tell you how people become irrelevant. Let me just show you how people become irrelevant very fast. And this thing is going to eat up so many people. So many people. It's going to eat up so many people. And it's not about 2030. No. 2030 is far away. This thing, even from next year, people will be jobless. All right. So you can see we call it a strategic drift. It describes a situation where the organization strategy gradually, if imperceptibly, moves away from the forces at work in its environment. So you can see in this case here, the environment is telling you, hey, this is the way. Let's go up. But in this case here, wewe uko hapo umebangaiza tu, hata ujui ninaendelea. Unakaa kidogo, unastuka, unasema unaenda juu kidogo, unaona? Unaenda kidogo kidogo hapo uta reach where we call a flux. So this flux, of course, if you're not, it's either you die, or in this case here, you have to really put now a lot of resources to transform. So it's called a strategic drift. Under phase one, you can see this guy is being pulled by the environment. The environment, like most colleges were being told, initially all of us were being told, hey, students would want to study online. And most of the colleges in this case here refused. Right now, what is happening? Colleges that went straight away online 100% from the word go, in terms of CPA, like RCM Online College, now we are the biggest in the market. Not even Strathmore. Like now, I'm so happy they have released a list of students who cleared a BDA and now are going to be taken in as members of ISPAC. There are about 250. Out of that 250, over 170 were my students last semester. That's about 80% of the market share. I'm training 80% of the market share of BDSTU. Not that I'm one of the best, no. I mean, they are Strathmores of this world. It's because in this case here, the environment told me, hey, change, and I changed. So in this case here, if you don't change, now you can see you are drifting. Now the environment is going up. The gap is now becoming bigger. From there, now you start like you would want to die. Now you're collapsing. You're going around like somebody, in this case here, who is really drunk. So once you reach here, it's either you transform now, where you'll need billions to reach up there, or in this case here, you die, demise. It's called a strategic drift. And now this is what most of you are being called upon, ladies and gentlemen, to do. The environment is telling you, hey, fine, you're an accountant, but you must have a digital mind. But we call you, come and train these things you're not hearing. In the next 1 or 2, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of inefficiencies at the workplaces. Most of these companies don't need like 20 accountants. Trust you me, in the next 2-3 years, it will be only 1 or 2 accountants running the entire show. Quite scary, but at the end of the day, if you will be among those guys who will be retained, you will be paid premiums. People will be getting over 1 million shillings, right? Remember, it's not only accountancy that is under threat. No, it's most of these professions, including, for example, medical schools. I mean, if you look at these big medical schools like now Harvard, they have come up with these virtual reality headsets. So they're telling students from Africa here, don't go to your mediocre schools of medicine. You wear this in this case here, virtual reality, you're able to get into somebody's bloodstream, you're able to learn so many things. And then, of course, occasionally, we shall now be giving you arrangements. For example, they have something in Dubai, where in this case, you can go and do your practice there. So the world is becoming a small village. This technology will favor, ladies and gentlemen, we are no longer in the agrarian revolution. It's not about your capital. Now we have entered what we call the knowledge base. Knowledge base. And someone like me, I'm way ahead. That's why now I'm able to teach even like what do we call this? Programming, the coding. I'm able to do the JavaScripts because I've read I've sensed what is ahead of us. I've smelled the coffee. Ahead of us, there is trouble. turbulence. Labor market is going to be very turbulent. And the only way you would want to survive is to align yourself, and not align yourself in a small way. If you don't align yourself, as I disappear, if you don't align yourself, this is what will happen. This is what will happen, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't align yourself, this is what will happen to you. If you don't align yourself, this is what will happen to you. This is what will happen to you. Remember the story of Kodak? Kodak used to be a big digital photography company. All right? Used to be a big, they used to be the analog. Somebody could take you, in this case here, a Kodak photo, and then they'll tell you, hey, we shall bring you this photo in 3 days' time. Right? So, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here, what Kodak messed up, when Samsung and other competitors came up with this telephone video, where in this case here, a lady will just come and they do their mouth in a funny, good way, like this. They take a photo and then they take it to Instagram. Kodak never saw that as a threat. They thought that, hey, still people would want the printed audio photos. So they lagged behind. In this case here, they experienced what we call a strategic drift. Where is Kodak right now as we speak? If you read this, I have very good content here. Unfortunately, I'm mentoring so many of you guys. I normally read for you this content. So for example, Kodak created digital photography, but the senior management were reluctant to exploit it, as they knew that it would destroy their film-based business model. 10 years before digital photography became widespread, Kodak knew of the threat. But the organization and the people did not support the IT and processes that existed within Kodak to exploit this technology. Ultimately, this meant that digital photography was exploited by rivals, and Kodak failed as a business, despite the fact that Kodak was the organization who initially created the technology. The same case with IBM. IBM used to be this behemoth of a company, big company making mainframe computers. When in this case here, one person one day said, hey, we want to produce laptops. Actually, they really went, crazy laughing. Laptop, a machine that somebody can place on their lap as they work, or a machine somebody can be moving around with. They never saw that as a threat. They continued making mainstream computers. Within no time, once in this case, these rivals started making these laptops and smaller computers for moving around, we are told IBM's revenue shot down, negative, by 50%. Within no time, IBM is no longer a force to reckon on matters of what you compute. Microsoft never used to be anywhere near IBM. So it is all about you being relevant. So that is why when I advertised classes of coding for accountants, I only got 18 people coming. I knew these guys are not really aware of what is ahead of them. We have to diversify. As accountants, we are called also upon, for example, to just know how to do simple video editing. Because now where we are going, if it is this tax consultancy, you must be able to produce a video of yourself, edit, and then take it to the various social media handles. That is where we are heading to. I could be the bad advocate, the devil's advocate, but I always tell you good things quite in good time, So in this case here, have you been able to pick something out of my today's speech? Is there somebody who has been able to pick some good nuggets out of our today's talk? If you want to call it a speech. These guys today, they're not talking, or they don't know where the chat room is. Yeah, well noted. Good. So it can't even be your 2024. It can even, yes, strategic drift. It can even be your 2024, in this case, your resolutions. In 2024, you must invest in personal development. Invest in personal development. Even those guys who are planning to do PhDs and masters, don't do accounting. Don't do accounting. Don't do finance. Those things are being taken over by robots. No. If I were you, I would do, for example, if it's MBA, strategic management, And then I do like the CFE, the international one, all right? Do CS, a local one here, because you'll be going to board meetings to discuss strategy, etc. You'll come to thank me later. You'll come to thank me later. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Don't forget that this Mwalimu teaches at RCM Online College. I also run some, I have some little influence in some company, which is in Tanzania. It's called SBSL, TZ. RCM, through RCM, we own 25% of that company. So that company basically is the one that does, what here? It is the one that does, it gives solutions, digital solutions, like to I&M. We have given them a reconciliation tool. You know, I&M is a big bank. It's a regional bank. So in this case here, they have quite many transactions. So all those transactions, our system called Reconet is able to give them a reconciliation statement, which is what here, real time, etc. So for those of you who would want those kind of solutions, I've told you, like a big bank like KCB, how many people does it employ for, like, just even SACCOs? SACCOs, they employ so many people for reconciliation. So if I were you, I would want to study that software. Once I start that software, then put it in our company, then we shall easily be able to do what here? We shall easily be able to be among the people to run the software, be able to go to places here. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that is enough for today. I can see people want Mwalimu to give them connections, and I would want them to remain in Kenya. Where can we learn it? I will be able to devise a way. Of course, we need like a training environment, but the students who are with me in these practical bookkeeping classes, I shall be able to introduce them, although briefly, to some of these softwares. Otherwise, it was supposed to be a 10-minute thing, and I can say it is 1:59. Thank you very much. Be blessed. Bye.